Hey guys, so we have my hybrid tech. It's made in England, UK, and it's a wonderful, wonderful shaver. Zenith B10, inexpensive boar brush. Starts off really comfortable. Only takes a few shaves to get this one broken in, at least for me. And it's a wonderful brush with kind of medium backbone. It's soft, and I really, really like it. I might be saving this knot. Don't like the handle too much, but I might be plugging this knot into another handle once I figure out how this guy's gonna act, because he's only got about 17 uses under my belt, and he seemed pretty new when I got him. Inside the razor, inside the tech, I'm going to put the feather. I just opened it up a couple days ago. It's got 2 uses on it, and I'm very interested to see how well it shaves with a newish feather in it. I've never tried Tabula Rasa soap before, and this is steampunk. The scent is steampunk, and it is my research indicated that it came out in like 2014 or something, and it was especially made for a certain group of people. And this one I bought used, and it was still a little more expensive than I usually buy it. But this tub I think usually goes for about 30 bucks. Well, that's why I bought it used. It's super soft. This doesn't really have too much of a smell. I almost think it smells like the soap base. And so let's not take any of the smell facts that I deliver worth too much, okay? The cedar is a large part of this scent according to the write-up, and I think I smell some hints of that. There were some like floral and aquatic notes, I believe, that was in the description. That's not in there according to my nose. It got to me on a hot day, and so maybe it got too hot during travel. Maybe it boiled over or something like that. I pressed it back down as it is now. And so maybe this is not so much a logging or a documentation of the scent of steampunk, but maybe it's just the performance of the Tabula Rasa. Now, I'm not going to dip my brush in here. I'm going to scoop up about 1/4 teaspoon of it. And that will be, it's just super, it's really a cream. It's so soft. It is a cream, basically. Don't even have to smear it much into the bottom. I don't have to even it out, make sure it's gonna stick into the lather or anything, because it is just so soft. Maybe some of you guys out there who have used Tabula Rasa, maybe you can critique and compare my experience in the comments. Okay, so that's 1/4 teaspoon. Often that is enough to do the job nicely with many soaps and creams. It's expensive, so I sure hope it performs. And here's the thing. If it doesn't perform, then maybe the same thing that caused it to kind of lose its smell, maybe that also caused it to lose its performance. But if this came out in 2014 or so, and I don't know if they did subsequent batches, but it could be a 4-year-old, five-year-old soap. So that could be another reason it could have lost its scent. All right. The brush, the boar brush, this is one that I've got in my Borathon lineup, one of 7 boar brushes. And so I did soak it prior to the shave. It's probably been soaking for about 1.5 hours, maybe even more than that. But it doesn't really need it in terms of breaking in. It's wonderful and soft and all that stuff. All right. The Hybrid Tech does a great job of lining up the blade edge perfectly every time with the ridges in the top cap. The flat bottom here is a way to identify a Hybrid Tech. They are rare, so you won't find them too many. And then the flat bottom usually means it's a flat bottom new, which is going to be an open comb. This is not an open comb. This is a solid bar. And so when you see the solid bar with the flat bottom, then I believe that's the indicator that it's a Hybrid Tech. All right, post shave, I'm going to play around with Diamond from Barrister and Mann. First time I tried it, really what came across to me was just ashtray. And that's part of the scent, but I was really wanting a lot of those other pieces to come out because those other pieces do surface when I use the soap, and it's one of my favorite scents. So my wife's not around tonight, and so I'm going to try it, and if it smells bad or it's just an ashtray, then I'll leave it at that, maybe pass it on to somebody else. All right, so a little splash on my face. I don't know, maybe 24 hours since my last shave. And I think a little less. As usual, shake out much of the water. And sometimes that's very good to do when you're dealing with creams because they already have some water built into them. And so a lot of times they don't need very much water added. Okay, so what builds up right away is a airy, thin mess. Some soaps don't do that, but just because it does doesn't mean anything. Sometimes that just means you need to keep working it. Some of the advantages of a cream are quick lathers, easy lathers. Disadvantages: shelf life, cost. A lot of times you will not get as many shaves out of 4 ounces of a cream as you will with 4 ounces of a croap. And then you won't get as many, generally won't get as many shaves out of a 4 ounce croap as you will a 4 ounce hard puck of soap. So it kind of goes up the chain like that. See, and already, I mean, look at all this lather with just the water that was in my brush. I'm going to start gradually adding. Never used this base before. And who knows, maybe I never will with it being so expensive. I don't know if it's supposed to smell like this, but it may be part of the cedar coming through and maybe the cedar plus the base or something, but it's almost like an old musty package. That's what it smells like. The inside of an old musty crate. And maybe this whole steampunk thing is a kind of a vintage Victorian era with some slight tweaks, a lot of steam powered stuff, a lot of stuff that looks very mechanical, with steam type, power instead of electricity. Kind of that whole motif. Now look, there's a little bit of soap, but I'm getting a good bit of lather here. I hope the performance was not impacted by whatever this container endured, and it looks pretty good so far. And it did get a little creamier when I added the water. So now we've got 1 teaspoon in it. Let's just see what happens now, if it gets even creamier or what. I don't want to start thinning it down. Now, one nice thing is the scent is a little easy going from the tub. But it's coming up to my nose right now as I'm working it, and that's encouraging. If I like the scent, I want to be able to smell it while I'm working with it. It's my preference. Some people have sensitivity issues, and so they have to choose scents that are very light and mild. Consider Stubble Buster from Grumatorium. They are contemporary cologne type scents for the most part, and they are very light on the soap. Stronger in the aftershave and the post-shave products, but very light in the soap. And so if you have sensitivity issues, then maybe that's right up your alley. Well, this looks pretty good. Let's feel it. More viscosity, more resistance to my pressing than I thought it would have. Not super buttery slick, kind of a watery slickness. I'm a little surprised by that. Let's go ahead and try it out. See what happens. Okay, so water on the face again. Now once you know, like for instance, I've got 1 teaspoon in the lather, you could start maybe with putting all that 1 teaspoon in there, have a little shorter lather building time if you wanted. Some soaps you can do that with. Put all the water in up front and just mix until the lather's right, till it's all integrated. Get a little bit more lather. This is a nice, soft, comfy brush, medium backbone. It displays pretty easily. It's not difficult or a lot of work to keep it in the display. The tips don't generate any kind of brush burn. A pretty good massagey action, and this is a little stiffer than most of the Simogs that I have. I think it's a very nice, happy medium in general. Well, I still kind of smell like a musty crate, but the lather in terms of consistency and stuff looks really pretty good. We'll give it another little bit to be on my face, to bond with my skin. Don't want to put water, start shaving this stuff off too quickly, unless you're just in a hurry. It must be that cedar. That cedar must just be a remnant scent that just won't leave. All the rest of the pieces have left. All right. Hybrid Tech. The Feather is a wonderful blade for mild razors. I really enjoy putting really sharp blades like that in a mild razor, because the mild will help it to be a little more controlled, not quite so rough. Well, this is not really a mild razor. I'm getting a great shave, by the way. I think maybe one of the reasons why this razor is enjoyed by many, a lot of people who've tried it just kind of think it's hot stuff. Some call it just the best razor, the best shave they've ever had, that sort of thing. I don't know if I'd go that far. Unshavable area right there, so I don't need to hit it. Well, I had good glide, a little bit of razor blade feel, but not in any kind of negative way. Felt like I was being shaved. I felt like a blade was moving across my face, cutting hairs. I didn't feel like my skin was being cut. I felt like the hairs were. And they were being cut easily and effortlessly. So I believe, based on this scent, I'm going to pass this soap on to somebody else who wants to try this brand. They'll be able to try out the performance of it and all that. And maybe a portion of this scent will be what they are looking for. And rinse time. Not really too much during the rinse to brag about. Not a lot of residual slickness, anything like that. It was didn't take much to get the stuff off my face. But I mean, the rinses to me are less important than the actual shave. But it doesn't feel like a luxurious soap in terms of the sensations during the rinses. Now, cross grain. So this Feather is a terrific worker. In this particular razor. Blades, as always, are subjective. You could have the same razor, put a feather in it, same soap base, get a whole different feel. Just very subjective, but I'm getting a great shave. I've been looking at this soap in my to try my soap's not yet tried bin for a few months. But the smell, you know, and the smell hasn't changed. In the lather form, it smells the same as in the dry form that I was talking about earlier. Just kind of a musty old wooden crate. Not a whole lot of residual slickness. I mean, a little bit in a few spots, but you do want to be careful with this one and go back over it with lather before hitting an area again. In terms of a premium soap, it doesn't feel that way at all. Maybe I thinned it down. Maybe it's meant to be a little thicker and richer, but I feel like it's nicely hydrated. It's a little airy looking, you know, kind of a little light, but it's not like wet and drippy or anything like that. So it's possible this one really wants to be a little drier than my usual. But I'm happy with the lather in terms of I think I hit it in an enjoyable spot for me. It just definitely doesn't feel anywhere near worth that kind of price point. It doesn't even feel as good as Sterling. And Sterling is like $13 or so for almost 6 ounces. And this is nowhere near that. And rinse. But you do have to give stuff a fair shake, in my opinion. And so maybe I will shave with this guy one more time before I pass him on to somebody else. And I'll run him a little thicker, just to see if that is a different lather. Oh, you know what it could be? I've got hard water. Most soaps don't care about hard water. You just throw in a little bit more soap and you're fine. And so maybe by running this guy a little thicker, he might give me a different feel or something like that. So before I let this be my only write-up, my only video on Tabula Rasa, I will give it another shake because I want to be fair to it. And my cheeks usually get done really well, so I can do a cross grain pass here again. Just keeping a light touch as always. Holding the razor kind of in the middle near its center of gravity so that, but mainly in a small area. I'm not My fingers are not spread across the handle to make sure that I have leverage. I talk about this a lot. And that lets me keep a light touch. And I'm getting zero irritation. So this is a great combination. And oh yeah, what a great shave. That's a nice close shave right there. So this razor and this blade are MFEO, made for each other. And final rinse. I mean, really no irritation at all. Tremendous cut. All right. This has got some skin goodies, so I'm going to shake it up just a tad before I put it on. And let's see if we get any. There's a caramel note to it in the soap. I think there's supposed to be like a little beer note to it as well. Grassiness, I like that part of it. In addition to kind of the smoke and stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely getting the ashtray vibe from it, but hopefully some other stuff will come out. And no stinging, and this is an alcohol-based product, and so I got just a terrific high technique cut. Yep, really close. Happy with that all the way around. Yeah, the cigarette smoke kind of, I don't know, it's probably mixing with a little bit of the grass. Hard to detect too many other items. So, you know, it's my favorite soap, one of my favorite soaps, and maybe it's just it's different, you know. When you put a scent into a soap base, there's a lot in the soap that can mask the scent. So they have to do different things to it to get the different pieces of the scent to kind of come out and get to your nose. Well, when they do it to a liquid, it's much easier to remain true to the scent that they develop. And so sometimes they have to create two different scent profiles, one to overcome the soap and then one to be normal in the post shave. So because they have to do that, sometimes you do get a different smell. So 1 teaspoon of water, maybe back that off to half a teaspoon next time, just to see what happens. I do have an extra pass of lather here. Very light. Sometimes with this kind of lather, even if I load it a little rich, it never thickens up. It always just stays light. We'll see. We'll give it one more shot. And it does come with this protective cap, and that's good because since it's a cream, it might need a little bit more sealing to keep it in good working order. Here's the tag on the bottom. A German soap, obviously. Achtung. Feather. Aces in this Gillette Hybrid Tech vintage razor. Excellent, excellent. Time for cleanup while I smell like an ashtray. Yeah, I'm done cleaning up now, and what I'm getting with this aftershave scent is just kind of the smoky with just a hint of grass or soil. Unfortunately, not enough of those other awesome elements that make it a part of the diamond scent. So I think I will have to pass this on to somebody else and it's very possible that somebody else's nose could pick up on the different aspects. I learned over the, I don't know, a month or two ago that that scent perception can vary by as much as 40% with no, and that's just the way it is. And that's not an issue. It's I mean, it's nobody's fault. Some people can just pick up on things, different things that other people can't, and it can vary by that much. And so somebody else may be able to pick out all the elements and just enjoy this aftershave. Barrister and Mann makes a good product. It's got mainly denatured alcohol is the big guy. It's got a little bit of witch hazel, some avena, oat kernel protein, calendula. Anything else? Seaweed extract, milk thistle fruit extract, tulsi basil leaf extract. So it's got some cool skin food stuff for you. All right, well, there we go. Wonderful shave with the razor and blade. I guess the soap was a little better than I thought it would be. Since it's such a light cream, I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. But it was okay. It was okay. Definitely, based on this sample, maybe it's a bad sample, but based on this sample, it's that particular brand of soap is way overpriced by maybe about 3 times. But maybe it's a bad sample. All right. Love the young feather blade in mild razors, and even one that's a little bit more toward the medium spectrum with this hybrid tech. And I think that's good for today. Hope there was something here for you. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.